All right, ladies and gentlemen and good people of YouTube land, those who support Tabletop Baseball Plus, this is Tenacious Earl with another game here in the Tenacious Baseball League. So we are wrapping up a series in New York and still fiddling a little bit with the camera, trying to get the right look about things, but bear with me. Hopefully it looks okay to you guys. This has been a while from being here in the channel. I think the last one I broadcast was 213 maybe, unless I snuck one in off the beaten path or whatever, because sometimes I'll do that and it won't show up in my lives, but it looks like 213 was the last one. So I have been playing a few, although truth be told, it was about 3 weeks since the last time I had played, and then over the last 2 nights I've kind of snuck in 3 or 4 games. So we're on 221. I'm not going to go into too much detail as far as the state of affairs in the league. Let's just say there's not a whole lot of change since the last time I've updated. I will probably do a video very soon, maybe even tomorrow night, to kind of talk about where the league stands at the moment. But this is going to be the Tigers and the Mets. This is the back end of a doubleheader, so that makes this a little bit more crazy because these teams have, in the first 2 games of this series, they've played extra innings. So I scheduled a doubleheader because I realized my schedule it had a conflict, so I had to squeeze 2 games into this one. And in that process, now that I've had a couple of extra inning games, it means these bullpens are a little taxed. So the starters being Matt Boyd and Robert Gesellman, they may have to kind of like go into this game a little while. So hopefully everybody's having a good week so far. It's Wednesday night, so we're past the halfway point, which is always good. And we're just going to get going here. And like I said, I don't want to go into much detail about the state of the league other than to say Detroit is 19-25, and the Mets are still cruising 29-15 with just under 50 games left in this league. So the lineup for Detroit here in the second game for June 18th. It's going to be Cameron Maybin in center. Andrew Romine is going to get the start and right. JD Martinez got the rest role. He will be off in this one, although you can bet he will show up for a pinch hit appearance if the score warrants. Miguel Cabrera will start at third, as Victor Martinez did not start in the first half of this doubleheader, so we are getting Martinez a start at first and batting fourth. So then Kinsler at second, Upton in left. Saltalamacchia will get the start behind the plate in the second half of this, as James McCann went in the first. Jose Iglesias gets a start. He actually got rested in game 1. And Boyd is pitching. The Mets have won the first 2 games of the series, and again, they were extra innings. Both were 1-run victories, so Detroit looking to salvage something out of this one. Normal conditions here on a nice night at Citi Field, and we're going to go. Maybin leading off. Okay, against Gesellman. So that's a 4-8. That's going to be a chance at a single for the right-handed Maybin. It's a 1-17, and it's an 8. So leadoff single for Cam Maybin. And for a team looking to try and salvage one, that is a good start for the Tigers. So Gesellman coupled with Rene Rivera getting the start here, they're a very good battery as far as holding runners. So Maybin's going to come in less than 75%, so we're going to have to potentially think about, let's hit and run here with Romine. He's not a very good on-base guy here against righties. Let's give it a shot. B, hit and run. And so it goes 6-8 as a strikeout. That means it's going to be batter misses pitch because it's off the pitcher's card. So we're going to have to check and see if Maben gets a lead, and then figure out after that what his chances of actually stealing the bag are. So let's do this, and let's do this. And he gets a 9, so he does not get a good lead. That's going to be 12. Then you subtract the 5 for Gesellman and Rivera, and then you subtract another 4. So that's 9 less than 12. So basically a 1 to 3 chance, and he would get a potential throwing error. If you get a 1 to 3, that's a 14. So he's just caught stealing. So that's the hit and run does not work. So Romine will continue his at bat. 2-8, grounder to second base. That will be Kelly Johnson throwing to first, and so that would look like it would have been a double play ball anyway. So Miguel Cabrera playing third today, 3-8. That's a grounder to shortstop, so Asdrubal Cabrera will make the final out. I'm not going with the automated, well, it's not automated, electronic scoreboard in this one. I just kind of want to keep it simple. So we're through a half of an inning, and the Mets will come up to bat against Matt Boyd, the lefty. So feel free to comment, or just hang out, or whatever you want to do. So the Mets against Boyd, be Reyes at third base, batting first. Then Kelly Johnson, second baseman. Then Yoenis Cespedes will be in center in this game. Jay Bruce in right. Asdrubal Cabrera short. James Loney gets the start at first. He had the first game off. Again, Rivera starting behind the plate in lieu of Darno. Conforto will get a start here against the lefty, which he does not hit very well against the left-handed pitchers, but he's going to get a start here in this one. So, and then Gesellman batting ninth. So Reyes, 6-6, he's batting from the right side. That'll be a fly ball to right, and that'll be caught by Romine. That's an out. Kelly Johnson, lefty-lefty matchup here at 212. Grounded third base. Miguel Cabrera throws across the diamond to Victor Martinez for the out. And it'll be 2. So Yoenis 5-5, righty. That's a strikeout, a 1-2-3 inning for Matt Boyd, and we've got no score through 1 at Citi Field. Gilles, this is still the 2016 set from long ago. Yes, it is. It's good to see you, and yeah, I am still trying to kick this guy through, and I've got about 4. This is, what do I have after this? 48. So little by little, I've been playing some games offline a lot more of late. But so Victor Martinez, top of the second, 4-9, batting from the left side, is a grounder to second. So Kelly Johnson gets his second assist of the game, 1 out. I have a fruit fly flying around in here. It is bugging the you-know-what out of me. Ian Kinsler, that's a 1-6 against a righty. That's going to be he gets underneath it, and it's going to end up with Cabrera on the pop-up, and he makes the snag. 2 outs. Justin Upton, 1-7. Okay, he's going to draw a 2-out walk. Already had somebody caught stealing. I think we're just going to let Salta Lamacchia come up here and try and get 2 guys on here for Iglesias. But we'll see what happens, or just take a crack at it. Then there you go, 2-5 is a walk. So back-to-back walks surrendered by Gesellman. And I might not have rolled the D20. It's probably going to come up something other than 1 or 2, and it does. So let's roll it for this at bat. Iglesias, first and second, 2 outs, 2-8. Grounder back to the pitcher, and he's going to Gesellman to toss it over to Loney, and that will end any threat. Bottom of the 2. And it'll be Jay Bruce who came over from the Reds at the deadline. Thanks, Gilles. I did that. This is well, the first project was 2015. That was from long ago. I kind of whipped through that one in relatively short order compared to this one. But then again, I didn't really have too many other games in hand. Like, that was pretty much what I was playing. So I ended up sort of like spreading my wings and getting things like Second Season and History Maker Golf, which have inhibited some of my progress in this project. It's been there for a little while. 6-7 against a lefty, grounded to second with an X. So that's going to be Kinsler, which he is I think he's a 1 radius. He's 1 E10. So 1 and 11, he gets to it, good range. And then let's see, a 14 on the E10 should still be made, but let me double check. Yep, that's a good play. Ian Kinsler, a very sure-handed, good ranging second baseman, makes the first out. So there's another 6-7 batting from the right side. That'll be another grounder to Kinsler. So 1 E10, 15, good and good. James Loney, 4-8 lefty, is a 1-4 single chance, and he'll get out of this 1-2-3 again, and he does. So it'll be a liner to first, caught by Victor Martinez, and we're through 2, no score. Mets just keep cruising in this project. Let's see. Can I remember all the teams in the first one? I'll have to think about. I don't know. I don't know why I thought of that, but yeah. So Gilles, I use Strat PC for this. Actually, when I play offline, for a long time, I just did it all after the fact. I would do all of my entry into Strat PC, and I got frustrated after a while. So then so I'm gonna have to do that with this game. But if I play offline, I load it up at the same time, and I'm just like, I'm still scoring the paper, but kind of like at the end of the inning, I then catch it back up again. So because I don't want to interrupt the flow of just the paper and the pen, and I still love that kind of. And let's see, I got Boyd up first here. I don't know why I overdid it there, but I did. So it'll be Boyd leading off. 4-10. Boyd, left-handed hitter. That's a catcher X. So catcher is Rivera. 2E1. 2 and 7 is going to be, well, nobody's on base, so not a passed ball. It would be a pop-up as long as there's no error. And that's not an error roll for the catcher. So yeah, so that's kind of like the adjustment I made. The first one I did ball stat, and there were a couple times I got way behind, and it really was a drag catching that up. That's a single. Maben gets on for the second time. He got caught stealing in the first inning. 1 out this time with Romine at the plate. I think we're just going to go ahead and play. We did a hit and run, and it burned the Tigers there. So here's Romine, 4-7, batting from the left. That's a walk. So that's a little more fruitful. 1 out, first and second, and Miguel Cabrera. 4-8 righty. That's going to be the single. Well, we're getting some pitcher card rolls here. 1-17 would load the bases. It's an 18. That'll be a grounded third. They're going to get the force play at second. That'll be, let's see, Reyes to Johnson, but that'll be a fielder's choice, and Maben ends up at third. So lucky roll there for the Mets. They beat the 1-17 split, and now it'll be Victor Martinez with runners at first and third with 2 outs. Can Martinez knock him home? That's a 6-8. batting from the left side. That's a strikeout, and that rally is quenched. So bottom of the third, no score. Tough luck for the Tigers there. Okay, let's check the chat again. Hey, BR. Jill says he does that with Strat as well. Enters. Yeah, I'm a fan. You know, it's funny when I do these live streams too. I've incorporated a lot of. I tend to try to incorporate some enhancements as far as like technology, and I've gone back and forth about that. And I've played a couple computer games on here. You know, PC type games, and I'm just I really, and I've gotten back into flight simming, which was something that I have done for the last like 20 years on and off. I'll go for like 2 or 3 months, and then it'll be 2 years, and then I get back to it. But you know, I do like computer games, but since kind of hit getting into this, and I had sort of like a struggle back many years ago. Let's say professionally, a potential job loss. Things kind of like got pretty ugly as far as my psyche, and this was my strat, and it was advanced strat, but it was kind of like my escape, and doing a league like this really kind of like got me through that. So that's why I really prefer not to get too. There's another pitcher card roll. 5'10" righty. That's catcher X. Boyd getting away with that. A 5'9" would have been worse. So it's, oh boy, a 1. So who is it? It's Saltalamacchia. He's a 4, I think. And I think so that's going to be a single. 4E1. I believe that's a single off of the catcher X. So he doesn't get away with it. Yep, if it would be a wild pitch if there's a runner, but instead it's a single. And, ooh boy, 15. 1 and 15 is he's an E1, but it's still a single. 15 is not an error, so Rivera gets on. Conforto, runner at first, nobody out. He is really not good against a lefty, and finally we get one off the hitter's card, and that is a strikeout. So of all the times for the Mets to get one, it was with Conforto. And now here we've got Gesellman, who is a D bunter, and they're going to be expecting bunt, so it's going to make an E. I always do that. I always just basically say they're going to play in, which raises his grade 1. And that is a 6, which is a defense. So with Rivera running, they could definitely try to cut down Rivera at second. And that would be the third baseman going after him. But you also chance, let's see, so defense is his 8, minus 4 is 4, and then plus the defensive rating. So it's Miguel Cabrera, who's a 5, so it's really oh boy. So that's almost a 50% chance. You'd think with Rene Rivera running that it would be. But, man, do you want a chance getting the top of the order with first and second and 1 out? I think you're gonna take your chances with Reyes with 2 outs. So it's gonna be 5-4 the sacrifice. They're gonna allow the sacrifice to work, and it'll be Reyes facing Boyd with 2 outs and a runner at second. They could even, in theory, they could walk him, and I'm not sure the lefty Johnson is going to be. He's got more power, but I don't know as he's got a better. Yeah, what do you do here? This is a potential strategic issue, and normally I don't like intentionally walking, but this is a case where I feel like with Johnson coming up, I mean, he could burn you with a 3-run homer here if you put on. Let's just pitch to Reyes, and hopefully for Boyd, he gets the right roll. It's a 2-5, and that's going to be trouble. That's at least a single. It'll score a run, and it's a double. So we've and if we had tried to get Rivera and gotten him, then Gesellman would have only ended up at third. But that is going to be a double, and it's going to score Rivera 1-0 Mets. And let's see, Johnson, though, that would have been a ballpark homer with a 1-12. So that would have been a 3-run shot. So maybe in the end we will have... Oh, boy, there's a potential wild pitch. Need another one. We're going to get a repeat? No. Okay, Johnson, 6'10", lefty. Fly ball to center field, and they do get out of that as the catch is made by Maben. So 1 run across. I think we did okay by the Tigers there. That strategy, that was kind of a rough situation there, and it turned out, I mean, you hate doing the what if game a whole lot with this stuff, but if we had gotten that roll on Johnson's card, that would have been a potential homer, and yeah, who knows. Oh, I did not hear that. Really? No way. Well, I guess I'm happy to be playing the Mets then tonight, because I think that's fitting to play. I mean, I should be doing one that's a little older. Maybe. Oh, boy. That's a shame. Oh, man. Yeah, he was 75, but still, I mean, that's still young, man. Oh, man. That's okay. Well, Mets are in the lead, and sorry to those Mets fans who were watching this. Sorry for your loss, and I mean, it's a baseball loss, so you hate to have the greats of the game getting to that point where. I mean, and we're gonna start getting to that point where we have guys who we grew up rooting for, and that's, I mean, Seaver's in that, he's like right at the edge for me, it's right at the edge. Wow. Doing my best not to like tear up here, but so Kinsler. 6'7" righty is a strikeout. That's second for Gesellman, 1 out. Justin Upton. 4'8" righty. That's the single. That's a 16 this time. This time it does pay off, and they get a single. And Gesellman and Rivera hold the runner as well, so you really can't do much with that. Saltalamacchia, Detroit has not had many. I mean, they're still not going to get a hitter's card rule. So the lefty 5'10", grounder to shortstop. That's going to be Asdrubal Cabrera. Could be a double play. 3-E-8. He's batting from the left, so it's going to make, because we hold everybody, especially Upton, who's a speedy guy. That's going to turn Cabrera into a 4. So, potential here for some hijinks. 4 and 5, that will be a single. 1 base advance as long as there's no error. And again, he's an E8, so chances of that. Well, there's a 16. Hello. So, 16 on the E8, was it? My memory is. Yeah, that's an error too. So, a single and an error. So you're going to end up with Saltalamacchia at second base. That's an E6. And Upton's going to go all the way to third. So it's 1-0, but the defense for the Mets are not holding up the form. Second and third, 1 out. it'll be Jose Iglesias. If they could get by Iglesias here, then they'd have Boyd. Now, Iglesias, though, is a good hitter. He could definitely single these guys both home. So let's see what happens. They're going to play the infield. They will play the infield back here. They'll give up a run to get to where they can just try to get Boyd out. 4-4 righty. That's a grounder to third. Again, they're playing back. So that's going to be Reyes, and he's a 2E20. And they wouldn't be holding... Oh, boy, and there's a 2. Can you see that? You can see the reflection on this guy right here. This is the top phase. So that's a 2. 2 and a 2 is a single, and it's going to score a run. It's going to tie the ball game. So the E20 at third base and a 14. And that's another error. So 2 errors in a row. Plus, so singles and errors. That's an E5. It's going to score Upton. 1-1. Saltalamacchia, he will also score. And I think so Iglesias will get 1 RBI. I don't know if he'll give him a second. Probably not. So that doesn't work out. It's 2-1 as a single and an error. So 2 errors here, not doing Gesellman any favors. So with 1 out, Boyd up, and he is a C bunter, so that makes him D. He will bunt. A D11 is a 1 and 2. He's just going to go ahead and swing away this time. Runner at second. 3-5. Grounder to short. So that's going to be Cabrera this time making the play. That'll be 2 outs. And now Mabin, again, the runner at second. And I think we just pitched to Mabin here. Righty, 2-8. And, so 2-8. And Mabin's got the clutch symbol next to that strikeout. That is going to be a single with 2 outs and runner in scoring position. That will drive in Iglesias. It's now 3-1. So turn of events here as they get to Gesellman with the help of his infielders. Cabrera and Reyes both booting the ball. So Mabin not going to try stealing here even with 2 outs. 5-9 batting from the left. That's a strikeout. But the damage is done. 3 runs across, 4 hits, 2 errors, 1 remaining. And a clutch hit from Cameron Mabin. Let me check the chat here real quick. Any homebrew rules? Nah, I mean, I think if there's anything that really comes to homebrew, it's just usually with like usage stuff. You know, I try to use the base usage chart from the Super Advanced chart. And, you know, I use their total season plate appearances. So, like in this game, Ibar, I think he came from Atlanta in 2016, so I just go ahead and take the full season total. I think that's the way you should do it. That's probably the way they recommend, but I'm not 100% sure. I think in... Like, this is a double header, so or pretty much anytime there's a day game after a night game, I will make sure that I use, I guess what I'd say is I'm pretty liberal with the use of the backup catcher in those cases. Or, you know, just a different catcher, maybe in sometimes the catcher would have already been rested on like a Saturday night, and then a Sunday afternoon you bring back the starter. I have 1/3 injuries at this point because this is a third of a season. for a while I was using more injuries, and I was using kind of like full, and then I don't know. I just got to a point pretty quickly that was pretty much a drag. So it's fun. It is fun in ways to kind of force yourself to find sort of the players within the organization that you bring up to fill those voids, but there's a lot of play in those rules too, and I guess I got to the point also where I was realizing that I do a lot of roster determination ahead of time. So I try to set up the 25-man for every series based on season usage at that particular point in the season. So so I had a period of time where J.D. Martinez for the Tigers was already out. And so when he was out, so it kind of like hurts Detroit here in a certain way, because I still do the usage rolls, but they're also getting the usage dimmed by that period of time when I kind of like pull them out. So that's where the injuries really got to be excessive. And so, I might do a 5-game injury for somebody but that's basically the limit of it at this point. I really can't do like a 30. I mean, the injuries, if you were going to do like a draft league and, where you just drafted players randomly to teams and you were just going to use them the way they need to be used, then yeah, I think, using the injuries and stuff is the way to go. But if you're planning out the season in a way that's where you're using the players the way they were actually used, then to end up with a bunch of injuries on top of already pulling guys out based on their usage, based on their injuries. Miami had like D. Gordon miss with a suspension, so then, do I then? I mean, he's going to miss some games for injuries, for just the rest rolls, and it just kind of gets a little bit tough. So here is Cespedes. Again, 3-1 currently, 1-4. That's a grounder to short against the lefty Boyd, and Iglesias throws to Victor Martinez, and V-Mart makes the catch. That's one out. Okay, Jay Bruce, 3-3. Grounded to Cabrera. So Cabrera to Martinez. That's 2 outs. And now Asdrubal, another Cabrera. That's a 1-3. He is going to get beamed. So potential here is the tying run at the plate, but it's a lefty-lefty matchup. James Loney, the first baseman, he's 0 for 1, and it's a 2-5, and it's a grounder to Cabrera again. Let's see, Asdrubal, we'll say 5-4 fielder's choice. We'll go the short way and get that force out for the inning ender. So that's going to be through 4, 3-1. Tigers on top. On a sad night all around, and the fact that we got the Mets out here is mere coincidence. I had no clue. Hello, RJL. Yeah, this was a just a second. This is not a beer, it's a soda, but yeah, it's purely coincidence that I got this game on the table tonight. It's kind of like the next game. I'm like, you know what? I haven't played any of this on screen in a while, and yeah, it's just kind of a. I mean, it's. I guess the part about it that I like is the fact that I'm getting to play with the Mets here on as kind of like a tribute to them. But it wasn't intentional, so anyway, Cabrera. Okay, there's a 110 against a righty. That's a ballpark home run chance. Ballpark homer, for anybody who's unfamiliar with Super Advanced, Diamond. So it's 1-12, normal night here at Citi Field. This one is back, and it is gone. That's going to make it 4-1, and Unfortunately, Asdrubal Cabrera and Jose Reyes have put Gesellman kind of in a bind here, because he was pitching pretty well, and then a couple of errors compounded the singles into a 4-1 lead now. So V-Mart 1-6, that's a single, and now Detroit's finally coming to roost with the hitter's card rolls. And this is coming off, this is the second half of doubleheader. We really don't want to go to the bullpen too quickly, but I think we're going to have to here pretty soon. Kinsler with Martinez at first, nobody out. There's a 5-6 righty, fly ball to left. That will be caught by Conforto. 1 out. Wouldn't normally be starting Conforto against a lefty pitcher, but with the doubleheader and the way things worked out, that's what we did. 3-4 against a righty is a grounder to short. This is going to be a double play to get Gesellman out of the inning. So 1 run on the solo bomb by Miguel. I really feel like he has been under his home run production. I really haven't looked too closely at the stats of late, but I do believe that to be the case. Okay, I'll check it out, RJL, for sure. So, sounds like an interesting, some interesting happenings in RJL's game over at his channel. So, RJL 518. Been doing all sorts of payoff pitch, got a playoff going now, so just like to support everybody in the community here, just keep on rolling. So 6-5 for Rivera against Boyd, so he's hitting from the right. That's going to be a grounder to Iglesias. Iglesias is a good fielder, great range. He gets to it on the 6. 1E7, and there's a 12. He will make the play. For middle infielders, if you're under like 28 on the E rating, if you're between the sums of 8 or 12 in here, they get it. So if you play a lot of super advanced strat, that's like one of the tips I would recommend for your defensive checks, because that can be, you can get into checking a lot. Learn the thresholds where that 8 to 12 sit, and so that way if you've got fielders, your outfielders that are usually I think if it's 8 or less on the E rating, again if your sum, which is most of them are between 8 or 12, or those are your most commons, they are going to be plays made. So Conforto with 1 out. Lefty 4-6, grounder to second. And Kinsler also a good fielder, but we don't have to rely on his X rating there. And now Gesellman, and I think we've got to go to the bullpen now. So trying to avoid that. We're through 5 though, and I think we're going to go ahead. They need to not throw away outs here. Although, yeah, I mean, he's quite a ways along into the game here, so somehow I got Justin Wilson in with the Mets. That's not right. So let's see, what do we got? We can use Reed, Robles, although Robles, it's borderline. We could use, let's see, we used Henderson for 2 innings. Smoker, man, I really like what's Gil Martin got going? He 0.2 of an inning. We can use him. Let's go ahead and bring him in, although he is a lefty. What's the situation? Saltalamacchia, I think he's a lefty or a switchy as well, so I think we can go ahead and use Gil Martin. And we're going to pinch hit against the lefty with It's early. Let's go. I mean, we could have used Ruggiano instead of Conforto out there, but he's really close to his limit. Like, he's got one plate appearance left before his limit is really reached. So I wanted to use him for one pinch hit tonight, and that's what we're going to do. So with 2 outs, it'll be Justin Ruggiano, and it's a 1-7, which is going to be a single. Actually, it has a chance to be a double. I was looking on the right side. 1-13. It's a 9. So that will be a double for Ruggiano, which will probably be his last deal in this. So 2 outs, runner at second in our league here. Reyes, 3-7. Oh, and that's a pop-up that's going to be caught by Iglesias, and that's going to be a rally snuffed out. Through 5, it is 4-1 Detroit. And we will go to Sean Gilmartin. Selman, 5 innings pitched. Almost got paid off for the pinch hit there, but Reyes could not come through. So Saltalamacchia is a switch hitter. Then you got Iglesias from the right side, but we're just going to go ahead. We're trying to use who we have in tow. So we got Gilmartin. He could go 2 innings. Let's just see what he can get. Okay, 3-7 against a lefty. That's a strikeout. So 1 down. Jose Iglesias. There's 3-9. Grounder is short. Cabrera makes the play this time, no doubt. And let's see, what do we got with Boyd? He's 19 batters faced in on the victory side of things so far. We're going to let him hit here. Lefty, 5-4, catcher X. So that's Rivera, 2-1, 2-9. That should be a foul out, I think, right? Let me check. 2-9. Yeah, that'll be a foul out as long as there's no error. And that's fine. So foul out, caught by Rivera. 1-2-3 inning for Sean Gilmartin, and I think we will probably use him a second inning since they are a little short-handed in the pen tonight. Let me see. I could also use Seth Lugo. I was planning on using him as a starter here. I don't think he has. Well, he did start a few days. Yeah, no, we can't do that because he started 2 days ago. So we just got to gut it out here. So Kelly Johnson against Boyd. 2-8. Grounder to second. Boy, that's 2 column is good for Johnson, but the 8 is a grounder to Kinsler, and he makes the play. So 1 out. Just 1 hot shot. Easy play. Cespedes, 3-6. That's a strikeout. 2 outs. Mets going to go into the final third of this game needing 3 runs unless Bruce comes up with something here. 5-9 lefty. Well, there we go. 1-12 will be a normal home run, and Bruce does have normal power. Will this go? 1-12, and it's a 15. So that'll be a triple for Jay, the lawnmower Bruce. He had 6 triples in that season. So, well, and I'm using his total card. I guess I needed to use his total card since it's he came from an NL team. But a triple for Bruce now, and that puts runner at third with 2 down for Asdrubal Cabrera. 6'4", batting from the right side. That's a grounder to short. Again, Iglesias is a vacuum cleaner over there. He catches it. Does he make a good throw? E7 and a 12 he does. And the runner will be stranded at third. No runs, 1 hit. And that 2-out triple goes for naught. So Gilmartin will be back out. I'm going to check the chat once I set this up. and it's going to be top of the order for the Tigers. Hey, Russian Reb. Good to see you. I'm glad to see a few people here in the chat. I'm going to try and get this wrapped up. We're in the 7th. It is 4-1 Tigers. Again, I was trying to go a little low tech here without having. I was using an electronic, like an Excel spreadsheet scoreboard, and I just was trying to keep it simple here tonight. On a sad night with the passing of Tom Seaver. Again, this was not set up to be a Seaver tribute. I just so happened to be the Mets were. I earlier had played. Was it Baltimore and San Diego? Was that the last one I played? No, that was 2 games. What was the previous one? Oh wait, yeah, it was. It was the one I just played. Baltimore and Baltimore beat the Padres 12-6. And in the previous game, again, so this is the back end of a doubleheader, and Mets have swept so far in this whole season series over the Tigers. And the first 2 games of the series were both extra inning deals, and I think in the first game they might have gone 13 innings. Actually make that 14 innings. So 14 inning, 3-2 win for the Mets in game 1. And then game 2 was 5-4-10. So, as you can tell, the bullpens are a little thin right now. And it'll be Cameron Maben leading off here. 5-3 righty is a fly ball in the right field. Back there is Jay Bruce, 3-E7, 3-16. He runs it down. The E7, and that's a 4. E7 and a 4 is going to be a play made. If it were 6, that'd be a problem, but it's a 4 this time. He does make the catch. So Jay Bruce, you get those low rolls, and you just never know. Usually actually, the high rolls are usually really bad. So Andrew Romine is starting right here for the Tigers. 1-7 against the lefty. That's a single. 1 out single. Let's see, Gil Martin is a 0 hold with Rivera -2. So Romine could get a lead here. So it's going to be Cabrera at the plate, and he's going to try and get a good lead. He needs a 7. Most common roll, it's an 8, so he doesn't get it. So he's going to stay put. Would have had a 1-16 chance if he had gotten a good lead. But here is Cabrera. 2-9, strikes out. That brings up Victor Martinez. .47 batting from the right side. That's a 1-8 single, otherwise a ground out. It's a 16, so that'll be a ground out to, I believe that'll be second base. Wait, he's batting from the right, so no, it'll be shortstop. 6-3, and that will end the inning. We could go U6 there or something like that. That'll be the 7th inning stretch, so no runs on a hit. And it is 4-1, 7th inning stretch. And let's see. Boyd is past his fresh by date, but we're gonna. Whoops, wrong side. We're gonna keep him going here since again they are a little. If they can get through the 7th with Boyd 1, 2, 3, then things will be pretty good shape. Simple is good. Thanks, BR. I'm glad you appreciate that. Again, as I mentioned before, I try to use the least amount. I know sometimes it's just, you get to playing and you're like, oh, well, I could do this, I could do that. And the golf has gotten that way. 4-11 against the lefty is a ballpark single. Now it's a 1-2 here today, so this has a very slim chance. It's an 8, so that's going to be a liner to second baseman Kinsler, 1 out. It's there are some things where electronic aid really does help you out. That's a strikeout on a 210 against Rivera. So now Conforto, I think, tempted to pinch hit for him. They really, but with 2 outs, it almost doesn't really make a difference. They could get something off of Boyd's card here. So 6-10. That's a fly ball to center. It's gonna be caught. So 0 for 3 for Conforto, and as expected, him against a lefty has been pretty much so. Let's see. So Gil Martin is gassed. He is not going to be able to go any further. So we will. We could also use Familia for an inning here. He did pitch an inning earlier, but he was rested in the game before. So this is the 8th inning, and we're going to go with Addison Reed. Face Kinsler. So Gil Martin, 2 innings. Good stint there for him. 7 batters faced in 2 innings. That's pretty good. About as good as can be expected from a guy who's not necessarily Chapman or one of these guys that just can mow everybody down. 1-6 against a righty is a pop-up. It'll be caught by Cabrera, 1 out. Second pop-up to short for Kinsler in this game. Probably was the same 1-6 roll. So Upton, 2-6, that's a strikeout. So Addison Reed gets Upton on strikes, and now Saltalamacchia. 6-9, batting from the left. It's a grounder to Asdrubal. He's already booted one. 3-8, 3-12. He gets to it. Oh, I touched it. I should re-roll, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's a 6-3 put out. That ends the inning. I meant to get the D6 out of the way, or the D20 out of the way, and I just got a little sloppy, but I think we're okay with that. So, bottom of the 8th. And I think now we're going to go to the bullpen for Tigers, and I need to see what they have available here, because three-run lead. Who's coming up? That's the bottom of the order. Well, they used him for 2/3 of an inning earlier. They're going to use Justin Wilson here, and they'll have Alex Wilson warming up just in case they need to bring in somebody. So 7 innings for Matt Boyd, a good outing for him, and the Mets are going to pinch hit for Reed. Okay, lefty. So no, they're going to have Wilmer Flores. Pretty dang good hitter. This guy, at least in this season, he is really just seems to do everything. He's got some power, hits for some average, although I guess against the righties not so much, but here against the lefty though, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't. It's weird. Maybe he's not as good as I think he is. He's 267. He gets on base 32% of the time almost. But maybe just in this season he's been really good. But here's Flores. 5-7 righty. That's a grounder to second. Kinsler 1-E10, 16, gets to it. And then a 3 on the E10. I think he does make the play, but let's check it. Wow. That's second base, E10, and 4 would be a problem, but a 3 is okay, so he does make the play. Get triple aces. How about that? So Flores is retired. Jose Reyes, 1-5, grounded to second. Again, Kinsler makes the play, 2 outs. Kelly Johnson got another one. 1-9 strikes him out. So a good inning from Wilson, and we're going to the 9th. Still 4-1 in favor of the Tigers, and it's going to be K-Rod time in the bottom of the 9th. So yeah, the Mets, they're so short-handed. They are going to use Familia here, and you know what? Let's see. There's got to be another option here. Could use Robles. He hasn't. Let's use him. He hasn't pitched today. He has not pitched well for my season though. So, but maybe he's due for a good outing here. Robles is going to come in here, try and get a 1-2-3 ninth, and leave it up to his guys against K-Rod. Jose Iglesias leading off. 2-8. That's a grounder back to Robles. That's 1 out. Pitcher spot. What do they got on the left-handed side of things? I mean, we could just go straight J.D. Martinez and say, you know what, let's let him pop one. Jacoby Jones. McGahee, not very good. Ibar. We're going to go with J.D. J.D. Martinez going to pinch hit. 3-6, and wow, there you go. 1-3 triple. It's a 12. That'll be a double for Martinez, and it's a guy in scoring position with 1 out. Cam Maben. 5-9 righty, strikes him out. 2 outs. Would love to see. I'd like to see Robles get through this without any. Oh, missed it altogether. Oh, potential passed ball. Rivera, 1 or 2. It's a 19, so no passed ball there. 2 outs, and it's Romine. Runner at second, 6-7, batting from the left side. He's going to walk, and it's going to bring up Cabrera, not what you want to do with a guy in scoring position. And 2 outs. But you got to play the ball as it lies. 1-8. That's a single, and that's going to score a run. Bad luck for Robles again. He just is. I mean, he gives up a walk. That doesn't help anything. Gives up the double, but that was off of Martinez's card. I think a lot of the damage was on the hitter card here. So now Victor Martinez with 2 outs. 2-6. That's a short, grounder to short. We'll make that the old U6. Fielder's choice. Ends the inning, but a run. And now it's not even a save situation, but we're still going to go with K-Rod because just need to do that. Well, let's see. What I really should be doing here is figuring out a way to re-engineer the defense, but we're just going to go with it. So Rodriguez, so Wilson for an inning. And now you're going to face the heart of the order here. So it's 5-1, right? No, yeah, 5-1. Bottom of the ninth, and Cespedes coming up against K-Rod. 3-5, grounded to short. Iglesias throws to first, and so 2 outs closer to, or two outs from the Tigers salvaging one of these. Jay Bruce, 4-10 lefty, ballpark single, 1-2, and it's a 13. That's a liner to second, caught by Kinsler. 2 outs, and now Asdrubal Cabrera. Last gasp, 3-10. This could go 1-12, and it's gone. So 5-2, breath of life. And since we're not going off of K-Rod's closer rating, in theory, 2 more hits, 2 walks, or a walk and a hit would potentially put him tired. So here's Loney. We're not out of the woods yet. 2-4. That's a 1-17 single. It's a 12, so there you go. So it's 5-2, and the tying run is in the on-deck circle right now. Rene Rivera. Do we want to go with d'Arnaud? I mean, we really should probably just go with Neil Walker. Let's go with Neil Walker, right? We can play around with the catcher when the catcher is needed. So Walker, pinch hitting in the ninth. Runner at first. Loney's going to take second on defensive indifference. Doesn't matter. 2 outs. Runner at second. 5-7 batting from the left. Grounder to first. Martinez will underhand it to the covering K-Rod, and that is it. We get 1 run across there for the Mets in the bottom of the ninth. But 5-2 is the final here from Citi Field. Unfortunately, would have been neat to see Mets win on a night where we learn of the passing of Tom Seaver, one of the great hurlers of all time. But you know, you take what you get, and just we're gonna keep seeing it. It's tough to it's tough to sort through, I think, as we get older here. Just the fact that whether it's family, friends, the people that we root the people that we root so strongly for, so vehemently for, so we adore in that kind of fashion, the people that we maybe didn't root for. I mean, there's some level of respect that you even end up giving to a guy who you don't really care to root for, but you just know he's so good that you're going to you're going to root against him, and all of that. It's just like we keep and so I guess my point was going to be that those people are almost like family and friends to us, right? I mean, when you're sitting there and watching game after game, I mean, especially now, I don't know. When I was a kid, I lived in the country, and I really didn't have, I got like the NBC game of the week, I had the old Garagiola and Kubek, and that's kind of like what I had available to me. But, those of you who grew up in the city may have had a lot more access to ball games, or you just got out your radio and listened. And I mean, I could have done that, but I played ball, and I tried to watch as much as I could on television. But again, like I said, some of my options were limited. But you really, I would wait for. I had this. I remember going to a yard sale with I would go in the summers with my grandmother. She would take us once or twice. Thursday was like every other Thursday. Her and my aunt, my great aunt, and my aunt as well, and then my grandmother would take each of her grandkids kind of like one time, sometimes twice in the summer, and she started yard sale like right off the bat. I guess first we'd probably go get breakfast, then we'd yard sale. I mean, granted, I'm sure you're saying, wow, this sounds really lame, Earl, but when you're 10 years old and that's all you know, and like I said, your options for entertainment aren't so great. What do you do? So then we go to the library, and then we go shopping a little bit, and she gets to do some grocery shopping, maybe go to there's Kmart around and stuff. But anyway, go to these yard sales, and I get these get games that were some of them were sports. I got the one football, I forget the name of it. I think it's NFL Strategy, with like the little bead that goes ding 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 a little bit, and some other things that were pretty neat. But then the other thing I got was like a baseball almanac from maybe 2 years before. I don't know if it was like 82 or 81 or 83, I forget which year. And it was just like, I would just sit there looking at that, and I see like Lamar Hoyt and some of these guys that were just like, some of these guys looked really interesting. They looked really like wacky. And when you're watching only the game of the week, you're basically getting the Yankees most of the time because they're the most popular, or I don't know, the Mets, or I can't remember, probably the Red Sox. I mean, back in those days, the teams were, the balance of power was a little different, but you'd be like, oh, what's this Mariners team? Wow, this is pretty cool. Like, look at that logo. That's really strange looking. And then you're like, well, why is that the Brewers logo? I don't understand. Or the Expos. So thanks, BR. So anyway, I'm just saying that, like, when I was a kid, we kind of like studied all this stuff, and you try to get to know these guys. Some of these guys would end up being traded to one of the teams you'd see, or but I don't know. It's just, in those days you were just a small little run of a kid. I wasn't so small. I was a little on the overweight side, but as I am now. But it's so, I've listened. I listen to a lot of music, and I think of like the song "End of the Innocence," and it's just like there was an innocence about all of that when we were in our years of like t-ball and Little League or Babe Ruth or whatever. You get up to like the age of 12 or 13, and everything is just so simple. You don't have to worry about earning a paycheck or feeding the mouths of your family, or paying your penance to the government or whatever. And you don't have to worry about violence or a virus. Like, I mean, you just look at the times right now, and not to take it to like things that trouble everybody, but sometimes it is great to just sit there and think back and kind of like try to lose yourself in what it used to be, because nowadays things are just pretty rough. and like I was kind of getting at before, we're just getting to these points where each year goes by and we're seeing more and more of our family, friends. I mean, I have a dear friend from college that, I texted him last night, and I'm worried to death because he's struggled with cancer, and I have been worried. I chatted with him early in the summer more, and I tried to keep in touch, but the message that I sent him a few weeks ago, I guess I just realized yesterday he hadn't responded to it, and he didn't respond to the one yesterday, and it just makes me concerned not only with the fact that COVID right now, and that would probably not do him very well, but he just has, I don't want to go too much into his details, but things are, it's a tough situation for him regardless of the virus that's floating around here. And you just see more and more, we're just getting to that point, so sad to see Tom Seaver, see that news. I mean, obviously we saw over the weekend Chadwick, the Black Panther actor, he passed away, and he passed away real young. I mean, 75. I mean Seaver lived a pretty full life, I mean, he obviously had world class, for I don't know, just top 10 if not top 5 pitcher in the history of the game. You just so, and well respected, always talked about well, and such, but it's even more so the ones like I said, that actor who, it's just tough. I mean, anyway, so sandwiches, Coca-Cola in the green glass bottle. Yeah, well, oh gee, you say the green glass bottles, and all it makes me think of, and again, I grew up in this little bumpkin town, and I mean, we had nothing in that town. We had a post office and a church, literally, in the town, in the hamlet I grew up in. Now, we would go to the next town over, and that was where our ball field was. And still, that was really, you had like a general store. We had a garage. Now, but what you made me think of was the garage had a soda machine. I mean, we called it pop back then, and I wish I still called it pop. I need to drill that in my mind, but I went to college, and my friends from like the Boston area, they were like, it's soda. I'm like, okay, well, you keep hammering me on, I'm going to call it soda. Well, I used to call it pop. Anyway, we would go there, and it would be like, it was a quarter? I don't know. Bottle of pop. You get a bottle of Coke out of, like you said, Coke. And then it was a soda, it was like a can pop machine. And I would go, so another thing, you're bringing this to mind, the barber. Barber was my dad and my mom, but musicians. My dad played in a band. The barber was bass player for a number of bands. My dad played with him for a period of time. Dad was a guitar player. I'm a guitar player. But anyway, so very, very close friends with, and you were just close friends with the barber anyway because it's a small town. So, young whippersnapper. You start out, you get your hair cut at the barber. You get like a sucker or whatever at the end of it. But then you get to the point where you're like 8 or 10 or 12. It's like, so Dad, can you have a soda, or can he have a pop? That's what he would say. Have a pop. So he would take a quarter out there. He had a soda machine, a pop machine. I keep saying it. It's just like it's been. I said he would take a quarter out there and he'd just plug it in the machine, and here you go. So that was kind of like, I don't know. For me growing up, I think that was sort of like a currency for us was the pop. And it probably contributed somewhat to my current body mass or whatever, but I don't know. Like you say, just simpler days. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging in here for like an hour and 15 minutes with me. This was therapeutic to have a few people hang out, and feel free if you're watching this after the fact and you want to just reminisce about watching Seaver or watching any of the other great stars that have passed through the various confines of our leagues, and feel free to comment. Hopefully we'll get some more games in here in the next couple days. I think I'm going to be off this maybe the end of the week, early next week. We get Labor Day on Monday, so thanks, BR. Yeah, hopefully this will just be one of a few ball games I get in here because it's been a while. Earl, Tabletop Earl, I think he's still a week or two out from getting back to the table. He's been he kind of got a hankering for getting back into like baseball cards. I think you would have seen that already on the channel kind of before he took this break back end of June, that he was kind of like getting the because he used to, I believe he used to run a card shop. But anyway, I think he's got a few more things that he wants to deal with, and then he will get back here and be putting out a little bit more baseball. I'm sure he's in this couple months he has some things just starting to percolate as far as like ideas for projects. So I'm sure he misses it, and it's just a matter of getting back. So anyway, thanks a lot everybody for watching. Hit the like button. I guess I just got a little out of frame, but if you could hit like, that'd be great. If you're checking this out for the first time and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that button that says subscribe, and you can even hit the little bell if you want to get notified when we go live. I do some live streams here and there. I'll upload some, but if you want to catch us live, just go ahead and hit that bell and you'll get your notification up on your phone or computer screen. When some of you might just do it to say, oh, I'm going to avoid that thing, but that's kind of like the opposite way to do it if you want to make sure that you don't stumble into the wrong place. But anyway, I jest. Thanks a lot everybody. So game 221 in the books. We got about 48 left here in TBL version 2.0, the 2016 season. Thanks a lot. Good night. And God bless you all. And rest in peace, Tom Seaver. Prayers to his family, his friends. And we just thank him for the memories we have of him and the awesome pitcher he was in Major League Baseball. See you soon, guys. Good night.